Rachel Maskell has held this seat with Labour since 2015, and she gave her thoughts on the environment.
There are so many issues around the environment that we could look at. Obviously, we think about the air quality in particular and the terrible congestion problems in the city, and that's why our transport policy will make such a difference to making sure that people have got real choice to use public transport here in the city, but also we think about flooding and therefore putting the investment in upland catchment areas, taking water out, slowing the flow of rivers will stop the River Ouse and River Foss flooding here in the city. But there's so much more that we need to do. Recycling is regressing in York, and we want to see a much more national standard around recycling, but also making sure that we are focused on some things like retrofitting homes so that we're not seeing the heat loss that we are and transforming into heat pumps and different forms of energy.
Fabia Tate of the Conservatives was also quick to show how seriously she is taking the matter.
Well, definitely the environment is the second issue that's coming up on the doorstep, whether that's the air quality in York or this global impact of climate change. And I think the Conservatives already have a really good record on what we've done. And I'm really encouraged by our manifesto and how much we're focusing on the environment this time, introducing an environmental fund that'll be planting more trees all across the UK. And I want to make sure that we can secure a lot of those in York, because air quality in York is not at a good level, and we really need to be investing in ways to change that. So I think more electric car parking spots, charging spots in York. I'd like to see all our buses going eco and going electric by 2025. I'd like us putting our own targets in York.
James Blanchard was keen to highlight the Liberal Democrats' environmental targets.
The environment is really important, no more so than here in York. York has got a real problem with air pollution, and I know this better than many because two of my children have been hospitalised with asthma problems as a result of that air pollution. And one thing I've seen when I've been on the hospital with my children is the number of other children who are suffering with this problem. We desperately need to clear up our environmental problem, not because it's climate chaos and it's a problem from afar. It is, we need to deal with climate change, but it's actually stalking our streets here, affecting people who are breathing our air here in York. That's why we need to clean up our environment.
What will you be doing to change that?
Well, one of the big things we'll be doing is moving towards being carbon neutral by 2045, but also banning the sale of petrol and diesel cars by 2030.
Tom Franklin of the Greens explained their environmental targets.
We're in a climate emergency, there's absolutely no doubt about that, and we have to make tremendous changes nationally, locally and internationally. We've got to decarbonise, and we've only got 10 years to do it, and we're the only party with a plan that will actually achieve decarbonisation. If we don't, then York is going to become York underwater or York on sea. We'll see the Ouse flooding, overtopping anything the Environment Agency can do, and we will see sea levels rising so that where I'm standing now will be the foreshore.
In slightly different fashion to the other parties, the Brexit Party's Nicholas Skiller claimed that climate change has been weaponised, as he said that the growing and falling of trees for biomass production seems like madness. His overall hope is for a diverse and truly sustainable array of energy sources. The SDP's Andrew Dunn, meanwhile, was keen to put focus on financial incentives for York locals to be environmentally positive and called for places like Arscombe Bog to be saved immediately from destruction. And the Yorkshire Party's Andrew Sneddon claims the major issue is time, stating a move to electric transport, further bike lanes and properly insulated homes are his top environmental targets. And you'll have the chance to vote for one of these candidates in York Central on Thursday the 12th of December. Rory Ward, That's TV.